Okay.
First of all, is it Eamonn or Eamonn?
Technically it's Eamonn.
Yeah.
Because the E is actually originally has an accent on it which makes it kind of silent.
Yeah.
So it is more the Celtic, Gaelic, Irish pronunciation is Eamonn.
Eamonn, that's what I thought.
But people say Eamonn or even Heyman.
Yeah, Eamonn.
But it's fine. And the original story I get asked a lot about, in case you get to that, is where did Samuel Eddy come from?
Yeah.
That was my original stage name for 10 years. And Eamonn is technically Irish Gaelic for Eddie, Edward. And Samuel is my second name. My last name is McCormack. So Eddie Samuel McCormack. Samuel Eddy was...
Okay.
And then when I took a break and came back, I decided to actually just use my Celtic Irish name that people call me by at home and all. And
it's okay, though.
Yeah.
So when did it all start? Playing guitar?
Oh, when I was 8 years of age.
8?
8, yeah.
Really?
I literally, my sister got a little nylon string acoustic.
Yeah.
And I remember she didn't really play much of it, and I picked it up one day and I was just playing up and down the strings, and I was fascinated. And then I saw a young kid then, 9, 10 years of age, came into our school. He was in the same year as me, and Jerry Leonard was his name, and he played an acoustic guitar, and he actually played a lovely piece. I think it was it's Green Sleeves actually. And I remember being blown away then, and then hearing Cat Stevens and Neil Young at the time, the early folky stuff. And I often wondered actually whatever happened to that young guitar player that influenced me first when I was 9, 10 years of age in my school.
Yeah.
And the latest I heard, I knew he was doing quite well in New York, but the latest I heard is he's produced and plays all the guitar on the brand new David Bowie album. So he's not doing too bad.
Yay! He did well then.
He did indeed, yeah.
And you did get the fire from him.
I did, and the first and then about a year later, my older sister who had like albums, she had Cream and Taste and all that, but I was still only 11 years of age, couldn't go to concerts or anything. And then I remember having I got another acoustic then, a little bit better than the nylon string one, and I was trying to get a pickup for it one Christmas, but around that time, before I even had an electric, the friends of my family were over, and I saw Rory Gallagher on TV, and I was blown away. My jaw dropped, and I said, "Wow, what's that?"
Smashed.
You know? Yeah. And then I started to explore more. Like she had Hendrix and Cream and all that kind of stuff, and it never stopped. Then I just love music and been playing ever since. I was actually teaching guitar to kids and all that by the time I was about 12.
Okay, you did already then.
Yeah. And then I actually was playing in little garage bands by 14. I had my first electric, and I went then and got some lessons myself, like advanced, by the same guy who was teaching coincidentally, Jerry.
Oh, that
really?
was the same guy.
For years later, yeah. We came from the small suburb of Dublin.
Okay.
So I thought that was funny, and I'd never stopped then. I just been always playing music ever since, really.
And when did it really came?
I think when I went to America about 1983, and I spent a few years there, and I started to tour and play and all over Boston, New York.
With who? Only
different people, yeah. In fact, there was one particular band I was playing with in California called the Heat Brothers. It was some of the guys from Canned Heat, and they had told me that there was a great guitar player who had left to go off with John Mayall, and I started to play with these guys, Ernie and Jimmy McGrew and Don Preston, great guitar player. He worked with George Harrison and all that, and with Frank Zappa. He was there as well, and we used to it was a jam session. We used to get up and play together, and they used to call me, they used to call me Irish.
Okay.
And it wasn't until 24 years later, touring with Walter Trout, that he realised that you're the Irish guy who took over from me when he went with John Mayall.
Yeah.
And we freaked out when we heard that. Then such a small world, really. Yeah.
Because you're one of the best.
I'm still a student,
I think,
really.
Yeah.
I'm a student.
We were amazed that you still play the guitar that well. That you see that in the audience, you know.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always hoping to get better and all that, and I think the beauty of music, and if you really want to be great, I think is you never get there. You're just always looking up to other people. I mean, I'm still in awe, of course, if I'm sitting with Jan Akkerrman or jamming with him, and but he's the same. He still looks up to other people, Django Reinhardt and all that. These people, and I think that's the beauty. And Rory was the same, and he was great, but he looked up. And I think when you think you're there, then you start going down.
Yeah.
Hill, playing wise.
Downhill, yeah.
I think you never stop learning. That's an art. It's life.
Yeah. To be a musician.
Yeah.
Like you are.
Yeah.
And then you said you took a break.
I did, yeah. It wasn't intentional to take the break for so long, but I had finished actually a long tour, and I opened for ZZ Top in Amsterdam. And it was a great show, and then after that I just took a break, I thought, which might have been maybe a half year, but it ended up, it was about 7 years from touring and recording.
Yeah.
But I never, I stayed involved with bands, and I helped develop young artists in Ireland and all, like Glider, great band, and Leanne Hart, who's doing very well. But and then I was asked to do a festival, and it was such a buzz playing, and I got a great reaction. I thought, well, what am I doing? I better go back playing.
Yeah, go back on stage.
And I'm technically only back now since a year and a half full-time, nearly year and a half, 2 years. I feel like, well, I'm actually full-time touring and recording again. And I love it, and it's going great.
And is there a new album coming up?
Yeah, well, since the Kindred Spirits, the one that's on sale here on this today, is kind of a compilation of old stuff I did with Samuel Eddy, some material mixed up that I never released, and the recording I did with Rory Gallagher, and one with Herman Brood and Jan Akkerrman and Keith Donald, and then that kind of brought me back on the scene, and I recorded another album, Heal My Faith, with this band actually, and that's out and available in acoustic records. That did quite well, and now I'm writing material, and all going well. In January I'm going to be recording with Chris Tangaridis, the producer in Dover, England, and he's worked with Gary Moore and Tin Lizzy and some of the biggest names. He's a great producer, you know, a great guitar producer, you know.
And he's bringing it all together, or?
Yeah, we're both. I know Chris, as it happens. I got involved with him with another act some years ago that recorded with him, and he's been over to Ireland, and also I know Chris, and then I think it was only a matter of time before we actually start working together.
Okay.
And I mean, he's a fabulous producer when it comes to even not only rock guitar and stuff. I mean, I think even some of the heavier bands, Judas Priest, he produced their biggest selling album and all that. So he just has enough, you know. But he loves blues rock as well. Like, I mean, he was even he was best man at Gary Moore's wedding, you know. So he's always been around blues rock as well, even though he does people like Judas Priest and Black Sabbath and.
Do play, Eamonn, I would say, and keep loving us with your music.
Thank you, it's my pleasure. Thank you for liking it and enjoying it. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good trip home.
Thank you. God bless now. Bye-bye.